Kia ora. Tonight in this edition of City News, Waiariki Acting CEO Keith Aiken says the Institute is near a solution to the Bachelor of Nursing issue. A 3-day Mardi Gras and festival planned for this Christmas and New Year. And locals get to look at the Magic and ANZ Championship Trophy. Those stories and more coming up next on City News. Waiariki Institute of Technology has been urgently working with the Nursing Council, NZQA and Immigration New Zealand to agree on solutions for affected students and recent graduates of its Bachelor of Nursing program. Student concerns were raised when graduates were unable to gain registration in New Zealand with their qualifications. Waiariki Institute of Technology Acting CEO Keith Aiken says some of the issues have been sorted, but negotiations are still underway, which is frustrating.
Well, we're confident, but it's difficult when you've got a number of players in the mix who all like to have their point of view reflected in whatever the final solution is. So dealing with multiple players has not been helpful for us. We've been proactive in providing the solutions. We are really mindful of the stress that this is causing our students. It's gone on too long from our perspective, and it's unfair that these students should be put in this position over quite a number of weeks now. So we're at the point where we're feeling quite frustrated with the process, and it's our expectation that the Nursing Council in particular will come to the party and at least agree with the solution moving forward.
After 15 years, heading Rotorua's award-winning cultural facility, Rotorua Museum Director Greg McManus is moving on to take up a new role based in the Bay of Islands. Mr McManus has overseen a period of exceptional growth and development at the Rotorua Museum. He says one of the highlights of his time was working on the Māori Battalion exhibition.
I guess one of the major ones for me was working with the men from B Company of the Māori Battalion and building the exhibition and making the film that we made about them back in the year 2000. And that was just a huge privilege to work with those old veterans and their families and telling their stories. Back in the day we could fill a room with 20 or 25 of them. Today we'd be lucky if we could get 2 or 3. So many have passed away. So working with them was a real privilege, and I'll never forget it.
Greg McManus takes up his new position as Chief Executive of the Waitangi National Trust in August. Locals and visitors celebrating the new year in Rotorua will be dancing to several new tunes this festive season, with the announcement of a wider Mardi Gras festival to be held on the days leading up to and following New Year's Eve. The 3-day event follows on from the success of the recent Rotorua Midwinter Festival and is similar to other international events which celebrate several days of festivities over New Year rather than just one night. The Mardi Gras will include music, a range of different arts and street theatre, night markets, food and much more. The biggest fireworks display in the city has ever seen is also planned for New Year's Eve. The festival will commence at midday on the 30th of December and finish on the 1st of January 2013. Community groups, organisations and individuals who would be keen to be involved with the street theatre, events, stalls, can contact Martin Croft at Events and Venues. It's been performed more than 8,000 times in the West End and on Broadway, and now it's coming to Rotorua thanks to Rotorua Musical Theatre. Miss Saigon premieres tomorrow night at the Civic Theatre. Director Robert Young says the audience are in for a great night with an excellent cast and wonderful production. Production manager Glenna Sarank says she's excited about the show, which she says is very emotional.
I've been at many rehearsals, but there are moments when I can sit there and the tears will roll down my face. That's how emotional.
And I'm quite lucky because over the years when I've come from Australia to work here, some of the people doing principal roles were just kids, and now they're adults, like Kimberly, who plays Kim. I first worked with her when she was 12 in the choir of Joseph, and here she is doing a major role, and it's one of the female roles in musical theatre. To see her rise to where she is now, that's just great. Good stuff.
Miss Saigon is on at the Civic Theatre from the 27th of July to the 11th of August. The Whakari Kapa Haka Group is off to Dubai, Austria and the Czech Republic. Leader Frank Grapple Jr. says Whakaari is made up of young people with a passion for kapahaka and for their culture, Rotorua and New Zealand. He says at some festivals they will be performing up to 20,000 people a day.
So that's why we're returning there, and in Prague there'll be up to 15,000 to 20,000 people on a daily basis we'll be performing to, amongst 40 international groups from around the world, from Russia, Italy, Mexico, France and so on.
In sport tonight, the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic are planning to visit the city with their ANZ Championship trophy. The Magic beat the Melbourne Vixens in Sunday's netball grand final to become the first New Zealand team to win the championship. Mayor Kevin Winters has told media he's been in contact with the team management and a date, venue and format for their visit is being arranged. He says it will be a great opportunity for local fans to see the Magic and their trophy. Weather now, brought to you by Trevor Robson Signs and Graphics Limited. Tonight, fine weather ahead with southeasterlies, an overnight low of -1. Tomorrow, Friday, fine with morning frosts, easterly breezes, a high of 14 and a low of 2. The outlook for Saturday, fine with morning frosts, easterly breezes, a high of 12 and a low of 7. Marine forecast for Lake Rotorua, southeast 10 knots, easing to variable 5 knots in the evening. Waves less than half a metre, otherwise fine weather ahead. Don't forget, for program listings and other info, check out our website at tvrotorua.co.nz. Still to come in tonight's program, we talk to Greg McManus at the museum about his time as museum CEO. Annette Burgess has news about funding available from Geyser Community Foundation. And I talk to Kingy Biddle about his passion for te reos.